Dear class 8, I'm here with the continuation of chapter number 4, that is endocrine system and adolescence. Alright, in the last session we had already covered the introductory portion of this chapter, and also we did one hormone, that is thyroxine, secreted by thyroid gland. Okay, so today we'll talk about adrenal glands, and some other glands are also there, which we'll try to complete in this session today. All right, so beginning with adrenal glands. Okay, beginning with adrenal glands, you see what you find is that these adrenal glands are situated on the top of these kidneys. Okay, we have got two kidneys at the back here, just at the back of our abdomen. There are two kidneys. On the top of each kidney, there is a cap-like gland, which is called adrenal gland. So that means there are two adrenal glands on the top of these kidneys. Alright, so this adrenal glands, if you see, has two main regions. Alright, they are central medulla, which is centrally located, and the other one is peripheral cortex. Alright, so these two regions are there, and these two regions secrete two different kinds of hormones. Alright, so here central medulla secrete adrenaline. This hormone is there. Okay, this hormone called adrenaline is secreted from the central medulla of this adrenal gland. Alright, so this adrenaline is a hormone which is secreted when a body is under severe stresses, okay, fearful or very much angry. So that time this hormone is produced. Okay, so this hormone called this adrenaline prepares the body to meet any emergency situations for fight. Okay, that is to face the danger or flee from a situation. Okay, so either it makes our body to fight the situation or flee from the situation. This is somehow to tackle the situation. Alright, that's the reason why this adrenaline is also called fight or flight hormone. Fight or flight hormone. Alright, you see, when we are in danger, so that time, somehow the body has to be, prepared to tackle the situation, either by running away from the situation or by fighting the situation there. Somehow you have to be prepared. So that time this hormone is produced and prepares your body. Okay, and that is also the reason why this hormone is also called emergency hormone. It's also called emergency hormone. Okay, it's also called emergency hormone. Alright, see, so this time what happens when it is produced, when this hormone is produced in the emergency situations, what happens is that our blood pressure increases. Alright, rate of heartbeat increases. Okay, rate of respiration also increases. Okay, so that time what happens is that the glucose from the liver is sent to the blood. Okay, sent to the blood, so that this glucose is oxidized to produce more and more energy, because that time the energy is produced a lot, the energy is needed a lot, because you are in such situation when you are going to either die or win. Alright, so that time this all happens. Okay, so not only that, the energy moves all towards the blood, also starts moving towards the muscles there. Why? Because the muscles play very crucial role in that situation. So this is all taking place there under the influence of this adrenaline. Okay, so this hormone is very important, and that is also the reason why this hormone is also called emergency hormone, because this hormone is produced during such emergencies. Okay. Now, peripheral cortex. This peripheral cortex of this adrenal gland produces a number of hormones, but among them, cortisol is the well-known hormone, okay, which in general influences carbohydrate, fat, and protein metabolism. Okay, so there are many hormones produced by this, peripheral cortex, but among these I've told you, cortisol is the one which is very well known, and it influences the carbohydrate, fat, and protein metabolism. All right, and this hormone also regulates the salt and water balance in the body. Okay, salt and water balance in the body. All right, and it adapts the body. Okay, this cortisol hormone adapts the body to stresses. Okay, it adapts the body to stresses such as extreme heat. When we happen to reach the region where the temperature is very high, so that time this hormone adapts our body to such extreme heat. Not only that, in the extreme cold also. So this hormone plays very important role to adapt our body. Not only that, even in the burns or even in infections, this cortisol plays very important role to adapt our bodies. Okay, so that means not only this, but the hormone called cortisol produced from this region is also equally important in our body. Okay, so this is all about your hormones produced from this adrenal gland, which I've already mentioned out here. So beside these two glands out here, you have seen the other structure of this kidney, where you can see the ureter out here. When we go through the excretory system, that time we talk about this ureter, because this is the pipe through which the urine comes from kidney down to the urinary bladder out here for the temporary storage purpose. Okay, and even renal artery, renal vein are also shown. So these other portions which are shown out here will be discussed in the chapter called excretory systems, which you get in your higher standards. Okay, so here today this diagram is mainly concerned about these two glands called adrenal glands, which are right on the top of each kidney. All right, so that's all about your adrenal glands and the hormones secreted from the two regions of these adrenal glands, that is central medulla secreting adrenaline and peripheral cortex secreting cortisol. All right, now we have another gland out here, which is called pancreas, just at the back of our stomach. Actually, this pancreas is a digestive gland which secretes pancreatic juice, and this pancreatic juice helps in the digestion. Okay, beside this pancreas also contains a cluster of cells, a group of cells which is called islets of Langerhans. See, islets of Langerhans. Okay, these islets of Langerhans are responsible for producing two types of hormones. Okay, two types of hormones. They are insulin and glucagon. See, insulin and glucagon. Okay, so that means pancreas are responsible for secreting two different kinds of secretions. One pancreatic juice for the digestion. The other one is the hormones. Okay, that means two different kinds of things are produced from the same gland. So this gland is also called dual gland. Dual gland. Okay, sometimes your question might be coming there in your examination, that which gland is called a dual gland. That is your pancreas. It is called a dual gland because it contains a portion of this gland, a portion of this part to produce pancreatic juice, and the portion of its part, a group of cells there in the part called islets of Langerhans, producing two different kinds of hormones, that is insulin and glucagon. So this is also called a dual gland. Alright, so now we'll talk about your insulin. Insulin hormone. What is insulin? So insulin is a very important hormone out here. Okay, very important hormone out here produced by this islets of Langerhans, and this hormone checks the sugar level or glucose level in the blood. Okay, glucose level in the blood. That means glucose or sugar means what? Actually, it is, this is the end product, or the glucose is the end product of the digestion of your carbohydrate. Whatever types of carbohydrate containing food you eat, ultimately what is formed, what it forms is your glucose. Okay, so this glucose is formed, and this glucose level should be under control. Okay, it's not that there should be a random quantity of sugar level there in the blood. No, it is not right. It is not right, because it should be in the correct quantity. So if it goes above the required limit, it causes some problems, and if it goes lower than the body requires, the problems will be this. That means it should be in a limited amount produced, or limited amount there in the blood. So this level of the sugar there in the blood is maintained by these two types of hormone, that is insulin and glucagon. So here insulin checks the excess or extra glucose or sugar level in the blood in three ways. There are three ways by which that your insulin can check the sugar level or glucose level in the blood. Number one, it converts, or this insulin influences the body to convert, or the cells to convert extra glucose to glycogen. Okay, that is conversion of extra glucose to glycogen. Okay, insulin converts the extra glucose to glycogen and stores it in the liver and muscles. That is number one. Okay, so here don't be confused out here with these two terms, glucagon and glycogen. Glucagon is a hormone, and whereas glycogen is a stable form of glucose which is stored in the liver and muscles. So here extra glucose, which is not important, which is in fact danger, will be converted into glycogen and stored in the liver and muscles. Alright, second one, insulin induces the cells to burn extra glucose to produce heat and energy. Okay, burns extra glucose to produce heat and energy. See now, this insulin influences or induces the burning of extra glucose to produce heat and energy, because we need to maintain our body temperature, okay, for which we need heat, and this heat we get from the digestion of the carbohydrate type of food. So in that case also your insulin plays its important role to burn the glucose and to produce energy. All right, beside this insulin also causes the cells to convert extra sugar into fat. Okay, converts extra sugar into fat. So now extra sugar. It also, insulin also converts extra sugar into fat. That means somehow the sugar level or glucose level is being checked by this insulin. Okay, that means your sugar level in the blood, unnecessary sugar level in the blood is being completely controlled by this insulin. Otherwise, what happens is that this insulin, if is less produced there in the body, if it is not secreting sufficiently there in the body, what happens out is that all this extra sugar level will be increased there in the blood. Consequently, the sugar level will be excess there in the blood, and the persons suffer from a disease called diabetes mellitus. Diabetes mellitus. Okay, diabetes mellitus is a disease which we call as sugar ko bimar. Okay, so that is your diabetes mellitus. So that time what happens is that the person frequently goes for urination, okay, loaded with sugar. All right, so because of the constant frequent urination loaded with the sugar, person becomes so thirsty. He feels so thirsty, and he becomes very weak. So that way some of the symptoms are seen when he is having excess sugar level there in the blood. So that time what we understand is that insulin is not functioning properly out there, or insulin is secreted less here in the body. All right, so this is what we see as the the function of insulin. But sometimes what happens, because of the over secretion of insulin, sometimes what happens there in the body is that the insulin is secreted more than the body requires. That time what happens is that your sugar level will be completely down. Okay, it will be very less than what you require. That time also some bad consequences, some adverse influences, consequences will take place there in the body. Okay, and even will be dying because of having no sugar level there in the blood, if the insulin is secreted more than we require. Okay, that's why the correct amount of insulin should be there in the body. Okay, so to check that, to manage these things, to have the correct amount of sugar level there in the body, these two hormones function in very good coordination. Okay, the other one is your glucagon. So now this glucagon, though is secreted from the same cluster of cells of this pancreas, has just opposite functions of this insulin. Whatever the insulin does, just opposite to that your glucagon does. That means if this insulin is lowering the sugar level, is checking the sugar level there in the blood, on the other hand this glucagon tries to raise the sugar level in the blood. Okay, so how it does is that mainly, as I've told you already, this glycogen, which is a stable form of that your glucose and is stored there in the liver. Okay, so this glycogen is reconverted into glucose, and raises the glucose level or sugar level in the blood. That means if this insulin is trying to lower down the sugar level on one hand, on the other hand this glucagon tries to increase the glucose or sugar level in the blood by breaking down the glycogen from the liver. Okay, so this is how these two hormones function in very coordination, so that sugar level is maintained there in the blood. Okay, otherwise what happens, there will be the problem like this. If the sugar level is very high, then diabetes mellitus, this problem will be there. All right, and if it is very less, then that time also you will not have the source of energy, because source of energy itself is your glucose. Okay, source of energy in the body itself is your glucose, because glucose cannot be replaced by any other forms of the food for the respiration. Okay, because respiration is the process by which oxygen can act upon the glucose to produce the energy. Whatever type of food you eat, whether it is carbohydrate, fat, protein, whatever it is, but ultimately for releasing the energy, they all have to be converted into the form of glucose. Then only oxygen can act on it to produce the energy. Okay, so if the glucose itself is not there in the blood, then what will happen is that there won't be the source of energy in the body. So when there is no energy, means you can imagine you cannot do anything, and consequently will die. So this thing is maintained by these two hormones secreted from this islet supplying glands of pancreas. Now we have another very important gland, the most important gland in fact, which is called P2td gland. P2td gland, a small pea-sized gland found in the brain. Okay, and this gland is also called the master gland. Why? Because this gland controls all other endocrine glands. All other hormone secreting glands are controlled by this pituitary gland. So this is also called the master gland. Okay, it produces several different kinds of hormones. Okay, among them some of the hormones are noteworthy for your standard. Okay, so here first we have growth hormone. The hormone produced by this is also a growth hormone. Okay, a growth hormone responsible for the growth of human beings, especially during adolescence. Okay, during adolescence, what happens is that this hormone influences your growth. Okay, influences your growth. By any chance, if this hormone called growth hormone is secreted less than you require, then you lead to dwarfism. Okay, you lead to what? Dwarfism. Dwarfism means your height will be very short. Okay, so in Nepal we call it baune. Okay, ziliganti. So that kind of problem will be there because of the less secretion of this hormone. Alright, and by any chance during our adolescence, if this hormone is secreted more than we require, then it leads to abnormal growth in height. Okay, which is called gigantism. Alright, if it is less, then it leads to dwarfism. The height will be very short, and if it is secreted more than the body requires, then it leads to gigantism. Your abnormal height will be there. That is because of the growth hormone secreted by this pituitary gland. Second one, it secretes another hormone which influences the production of sperms in male and ova in female. So this gland, pituitary gland, also produces the hormones which influences the production of sperms in male. Okay, when you attain that age, which are discussed in the previous chapter also. Okay, you in case of male, the sperms are produced. For the production of sperms also, this hormone plays very important role there. That means this gland produces the hormone to influence the production of sperms in male and ova or eggs in female when the time comes. Alright, then it also produces the hormones which cause contraction of muscles of the uterus during childbirth. That means when a baby is to be born, when a baby is to be delivered, that time a kind of force has to be developed there in the uterus. Okay, the wall of uterus that time is contracted with heavy pressure under the influence of this under the influence of the hormone of this P2td gland, so that the baby can be delivered. Okay, so not only that, it also produces the hormone. This P2td gland also produces the hormone which stimulates the breast to produce milk at childbirth for breastfeeding, because once the baby is born, once the baby is delivered, the baby needs to be breastfed. Okay, so if the milk itself is not produced there in the mammary gland, okay, then baby cannot be fed. So that time a kind of hormone is produced from here which influences the breast to produce the milk, so that breastfeeding can be given to the babies. Okay, so these are the some functions of this pituitary gland, but there are still many hormones produced by this pituitary gland. But at your level, in your syllabus, this many functions only have been given, this many hormones only have been given. So I think that would be enough for your standard. All right, so that's all about the different kinds of hormones and the endocrine glands in your syllabus. All right, I hope you people have understood what we have gone through today, and please go through this video again and again, and also refer to your book on the other side. Thank you very much.